I asked Polly if Penny was late in learning to talk. Yes, she was, Polly said. Her first words didn't come till about 22 months, and little sentences didn't come until she was 3. Could she play with words at all, I asked. You know, make rhymes, repeat rhymes, make up nonsense words. Polly was leaning forward eagerly. She couldn't do rhymes exactly, but she made up words all the time. She couldn't think of the right word, so she'd make one up. Instead of saying we're going to the airport, she'd say we're going to the plane place. Or instead of birthday present, she'd say box day thing. It sounds like her problem was in finding the right word in her storage bin, so to speak, I said. Or in finding the right storage bin. Or in remembering the word. Or in transporting the word from the storage bin to her mouth. What about in school? What happened then? I asked. Jo answered a little glumly. She fell behind in reading from the start. That's not quite true, honey, Polly said. She was more interested in books than any of the kids. She just couldn't comprehend them all. But she always wanted me to read to her, and she still likes to hear the faraway stories even to this day. What about the daydreaming? I asked. Polly handed me a stack of papers. These are teacher reports going back to the 1st grade. You'll see they all say about the same thing. Tunes out, seems shy, can't pay attention without frequent reminders. Becky Truesdale, her 5th grade teacher, was the first to bring up the possibility of ADD or a learning disorder. I have to admit I'd never even heard of ADD. I only knew about hyperactivity in boys. But Becky says girls can get it, and sometimes there's no hyperactivity, just tuning out. Becky's right, I said. Lots of kids who have ADD also have something else, something we don't have a name for, something good. They can be highly imaginative and empathic, closely attuned to the moods and thoughts of other people around them, even as they are missing most of the words that are being said. The key is to make the diagnosis early, before these kids start getting stuck in school with all kinds of pejorative labels. With some help, they can really blossom. Would you like to meet Penny? Polly asked. I did want to meet Penny, and we made arrangements with Penny's teacher, Becky Truesdale. Schools are usually quite receptive to this kind of visit. They are eager to share what they know, and what they have to say is usually of great value. I slipped quietly into the classroom during what looked like math period and took an empty chair in one corner of the room. The teacher who had guided me to the classroom pointed Penny out before she left. I watched Penny, trying not to stare. She was a cute little brown-haired girl with a ponytail, wearing a yellow dress and Nike sneakers. Her desk was where I'm sure she wanted it to be, at the back of the room, right next to a window. Every now and then, usually in response to a noise of some sort, Penny would look toward the blackboard and the numbers that were accumulating there. Today's board was sprouting fractions by the minute. Penny must have seen something in them, because she'd wrinkle her brow now and again when she'd look at them. She didn't seem troubled, just serenely uncomprehending. Then she'd brush back her hair, and, as if following the trail of a speck of dust, slowly turn her head back to the window. She made no noise. She caused no disturbance whatever. If anything, her serenity lent a calming influence to the classroom. It was easy to imagine how she could go unnoticed over the years. I introduced myself to her after class during a break for recess. Her parents had told her I'd be coming, and she greeted me with a big smile. "Hello, Dr. Hallowell. My mom said you're a nice man." "Well, you have a nice mom," I said. "Your mom and Dad came to see me to ask if I could help out with how things go for you in school and stuff. Do you like school?" "Oh, yes," Penny said enthusiastically. "What do you like about it?" I asked. "I like the teacher, and I like the other kids, and I like the walk to get here from home, and I like the time to sit and listen." "What do you listen to?" I asked. "Oh, to anything," Penny said, "mostly my own thoughts. I like to make up stories in my head. Mom and I kind of have a game." I nodded. "She told me about it. Sounds like fun. Is that what you were doing during math class this morning?" "Yeah," she said. "I was making up a story about fat old men who looked like 6s, and funny old women who looked like 9s, and they went dancing together and turned into 8s. "That's great, Penny," I said. Do you think the 8s will get back to being 6s and 9s? Maybe, she said, pulling at the yellow-spangled stretch band around her ponytail. I was actually going to have them lie down and become binoculars that could see very far away. All the way to faraway land, I said. Yes, she said, blushing a little bit that I knew the name of the place in the stories. During recess, I spoke to Becky Truesdale, her teacher. What is your main concern about Penny? I asked. That she really isn't with us, Becky said without hesitation. And I'm afraid that the further she goes in school, the more of a problem that will become. Even in this class she misses a lot, but somehow she compensates. Still, I know she could be learning more. Becky and I talked until the end of recess. I thanked her for her help and said goodbye, promising to stay in touch. There was a list of conditions in my mind that could explain Penny's situation. After I met with Penny in person again, met with her parents once more, and got some neuropsychological testing done, that list had narrowed down to 2. Attention deficit disorder without hyperactivity, and both expressive and receptive language disabilities. Of the various medications available, we chose Norpermin for Penny. Norpermin is in the class of medications referred to as the tricyclic antidepressants. Although medications in this group are called antidepressants, they have many other uses than for the treatment of depression, including the treatment of ADD, both in children and in adults. We chose Norpermin for Penny because it can be taken just once a day, instead of the 2 or 3 times a day required for the stimulants. Within a few days of Penny starting medication, her parents as well as her teacher were on the phone to me. They were all amazed. She was tuned in class, focused on the work at hand, participating actively and creatively. Most of all, she was really enjoying school, and in ways she had not been able to enjoy it before. She was enjoying learning. The medication did not take anything away from Penny. She could still daydream whenever she wanted to. Now, however, she was in charge. As Penny's mother said to me in one of our follow-up visits, it's as if a veil has been lifted from Penny's eyes. She can see us, and we can see her. She's still my dreamer, but now it's on purpose that she dreams.